Well, hey, on this Saturday afternoon, I hear birds singing and I hear kids laughing. In this day of video games and television, nothing matches a water hose and a hot day, and our kids are having a blast. But I wanted to take this opportunity to follow up with the email that I sent yesterday to our church family and to anyone who signs up for that on our hub. But I wanted to follow up on that email and just sort of, kind of add a little bit of explanation to some of the content of that, primarily the question of when will we get back to normal. Well, in reality, we may never get back to normal as you and I remember normal, but I know what you mean when you ask that. And the question is, when are we going to start worshiping, physically gathering again? And the simplest answer at this point is, I don't know. I know that it's not going to be in May, and we're hoping for June. But a lot can change during the month of May. And in reality and truth, the 6-foot social distancing is really straining our ability to utilize our worship space. In fact, I explained this in the email that and the document that your staff has put out on the hub. And just at the Family Life Center, for instance, without opening it up like we do on Thanksgiving, just utilizing the space we normally do on a Sunday, we can get maybe 50, 60 at the most. Family units separated by 6 feet. And then at the Madison Street campus, we did a rough estimate. It's not as easy there because it's pews and, we can't move those around like we can chairs. But even then, we're talking 130, 140 seats, family units separated by 6 feet. And so at best, doing simultaneous worship services. In other words, a group worshiping at the Family Life Center, a group worshiping at Madison Street at the same time. At best, we can get a couple hundred people together. And that is doable. That is doable. Brother Paul and I are talking about tag teaming, and he preached at one location, I preach at one location. The next week we trade, preach the same sermon. That way the whole church gets the word that the Lord is giving his church. But these are things that we've got to work out, and at this point we just don't know. And as I said, a lot can change in the next few weeks. And so we're going to do the best that we can to be patient and to be wise and to communicate well. So we ask that you pray for us in that regard. But until then, I trust that you will continue honoring the Lord with all that you do, and stay out of people's space and wash your hands. And I know that everyone will appreciate that. Now, let me before we go, I know there's probably somebody saying, but the governor and the mayor said that we could gather again, and that is true. But the Apostle Paul said, and if I can apply this to this situation, it's not exactly what he meant, obviously, but the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 that all things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful, but not all things edify. In other words, just because you can doesn't mean that you should. And we're trying to use logic or that kind of thought process. We want to do what's best. We want to do what's right. And so we covet your prayers in that regard. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, even though I won't physically, literally see you, but you'll see me as we gather for worship together. God bless you. Have a great night.